I would tell all these coaches to stop complaining about the officials, but they do it, and it does feel like, again, feels like, doesn't mean it happens, but it feels like they get calls the next game. So here's the weird part, right? Both the Wolves and the Warriors head coach have complained about the officiating and it being called too loosely. Don't believe me? Here's Chris Finch, head coach of the Wolves.
On defensive rebounding, they do a lot of fouling, holding, shoving, pushing, and tackling Rudy. That's clear. We sent a bunch of those clips into the league. In fact, I'm not sure I know another player in the league with Rudy's pedigree that is allowed to be physically beaten on the way he is. And so, we gotta address that one way or another.
Here's Steve Kerr talking about the exact same officials.
Yeah, I mean, I was upset the first 10 minutes of the game. It was just like Houston all over again. They were bear hugging Steph, and they could have called 6 fouls. But the league has established the physicality in the playoffs.
The league has established the physicality in the playoffs. So Kerr's complained about the first 10 minutes. Finch is complaining about the entire game, specifically around Rudy Gobert, which means we'll see an incredibly tight whistle here to start the game. And really what happens is they do it usually, again, first 10, 15 minutes, super tight whistle. Then we get late in the game, they don't call anything. And so I guess here's my question. I thought of this, Dan, where, we played Oakland. Their big guy he's just a monster. He transferred to Arizona State. And I actually thought, like, hey, do we start our backups? They'll get into foul trouble, then put our starters in.
Sure.
And you almost think, like, tonight, if you're the Warriors, like, they're going to come after Draymond Green, try and get him in foul trouble. So do you start Kuminga, play everybody else, and then wait till they're in foul trouble, and then you put Draymond Green in the game?
I understand your thinking, but I guess rather if they're going to play 30 minutes, you'd rather have them there at the end than maybe fouling out midway through the second half. In your case, I expect, not only do I expect a whistle tonight that will favor the Timberwolves, I don't know like how it evens out in a certain way. Like I know they're both complaining about it. Rudy Gobert, I don't know if he's going to get the benefit of every call, but he's not the first center in the world to have that happen to him. But
that's like every big kid ever growing up, by the way, right? They always get fouls called on them, then never get anything called when they get smacked.
Yeah, I expect it to even out tonight, especially with Steph not available for the Warriors. So maybe Rudy ends up going off, but the Warriors bench is a little thinner too as well. I'm not sure how many minutes Kevon Looney can play. He's toggled between 11 here, 3 there, but I also don't think that you can game plan to not foul or throw a bunch of fouls at Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I was being half sarcastic.
I know you were. I know. I know.
Okay, so then the question is, you got 1 out of 2. If you're the Warriors, do you like, hey, let's just rest all our guys and play for game 3 and 4?
I actually thought that way in the Houston series, which made me look at the Warriors differently. Where if every series goes 7 games, like there's no way that they can win an NBA title, but there's no way that they're in a position to sweep anybody or beat anyone in 5 games. And I think that we saw that in Game 5 when they lost to the Rockets, or they were losing bad to the Rockets. They just threw in the towel and said, all right, let's just save everybody for Game 6. Well, then they lost Game 6. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh, we're in a bad spot in Game 7, and you end up pulling that one out. I don't think you could play that game, but I seriously look at Golden State and thought about the same thing. Can you pick and choose your wins? And I think that that's darn near impossible. But, yeah, to throw everything at them in Game 2 to maybe then be shorthanded, because you know you're not going to have Steph Curry in Games 3 and 4, it would be a risky move. But I also, Doug, in saying that, and sorry, rambling on just a little bit, but it shouldn't matter on the locations if you're Golden State, because you're playing without Steph Curry. You just have to figure out a way to survive. It's not like they're going to be in an advantageous spot at home. They're still going to be at a disadvantage because they don't have Steph Curry, even though the fans are on their side. They're in a better spot than they are in Minnesota, but by no means is that an automatic win for them.
Sure.
So in that case, I think you just kind of got to treat every game evenly. And if you threw this one, there was no guarantee that you're winning games 3-4 in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think you take it until halftime, or you play your normal rotation or whatever your normal rotation is, and you come out, and they're a great third quarter team, and you just see and like, all right, let's put our foot in the gas in the third quarter, and if we're in it, okay, now we put the chance of embarrassment on Minnesota. Their defense was outstanding in game one, and it does stand to reason that if you don't play Steph Curry and you play say GP2 more, right? Like you're obviously a minus offensively, but you're a massive plus defensively. Massive. And so, you take a shot. And then you're like, hey, if you get to the third corner and it's not going to happen tonight, all right, then we pack it in and play all the young guys and put ice on everybody's knees and see what we got.
Just looking at their schedule and how the series shapes out, because when Steph's timetable came out, the Warriors said a week. So it was games 2, 3, and 4 from that point. Game 2 tonight, game 3 on Saturday, game 4 on Monday. That would rule him out for that week. But there's a game 5 on Wednesday. What's interesting is their game 6, they get an extra day of rest.
Yeah.
So it's almost, Doug, if we are talking about picking and choosing, you're like, let's just win one of these next 4 games.
Yeah.
So we have, even if we're down 3-2, we'd be coming back home. Steph would have an extra day of rest. Maybe there's an opportunity if he doesn't play in game 5. You would have an opportunity to, okay, we win game 6, and then we saw what could happen in game 7. If you're going to try to cherry pick your wins, that would maybe be a way to do it. But I would also love, if I'm a Warriors fan, I would love for Anthony Edwards to completely go off tonight. Just to have a crazy game, maybe not get others involved, because that could throw maybe chemistry, throw a wrench into that. I think Minnesota's really good, but if you're going to lose tonight, maybe have Edwards go off and feel that he needs to do everything.
We also listen. We also don't know how much of it was just game 1 stuff, right? Like traditionally in series, and it happened in every one of these series. Traditionally in series, game 1 is the one you can steal. So even with Steph Curry, maybe the Warriors would have gotten beat tonight anyway.
Sure,
if the Timberwolves settle down. But I will say that there is that embarrassment factor. If you get into the fourth quarter and they are close or trailing the Golden State Warriors and Steph's not playing, there is that slight factor like, are you kidding me? We can't beat the Warriors without Steph Curry?